info, and then email me in a week or two with your successes. Yes, back over here.
You know, one of my thoughts is, if everywhere you go, you get a commitment around one or two specific issues, and if you see that happen in every state or every city that you attend, then you build capacity nationally. And it's not like one congressman standing alone.
Yes.
And so I'm just wondering, have you already tried that?
In fact, a lot of Congress members are terrified of stepping out alone on anything. And so, by all means, if there's any sign of interest from Congressman Lujan on something, but he's reluctant, raise with him the possibility of doing it as a group of a half-dozen Congress members, and we'll find the other 5 to join with him. Because we can get the similar commitment from others and then bring them together. Or if he says, you know, I'd be interested in doing it if you can get other Congress members, then we can start, you know, not publicly, but quietly, having people tell their Congress members, contact Congressman Lujan and he'll do it with you.
So is the most important, I'm sorry, the 2 priorities that you've given are not voting for the additional appropriation for Afghanistan and the guiding thing, or the 2 things that you've...
I think those are very good, very immediate, very concrete things. Yeah, absolutely. There are dozens of useful things, and if he wants to do something else useful, don't stop him. But you know, I think those are excellent. And you know, we a few years ago we had 90-some members commit to no money for Iraq, and about 80 of them go back on their word. So, you know, just getting the commitment doesn't guarantee they stand by it, but it's much better than not getting it. And maybe, you know, there's no money immediately coming up. He's got, you know, some time to play with. There's talk in Congress about this. Congressman David Opie, who is the chairman of the Appropriations Committee, who does the bill to fund the wars, who, any of you know Tina Richards, who's been organizing these events, was screamed at him in the hallways of Congress 2 years ago, which was a video that was all over the televisions, for asking him not to fund the wars. On Thursday, he put out a statement suggesting he might not want to fund the escalation of Afghanistan. Right? So it's not completely verboten to talk this way now. It is conceivable that Congressman Lujan would make a strong commitment on that. And, you know, on impeachment, he may say, oh, well, I'm not on the Judiciary Committee. I don't think he's on the Judiciary Committee. It's just not my place, and so on. But it is his place. He's a member of Congress. It's any member of Congress's place. And if his constituents demand it repeatedly and forcefully and aggressively enough, he'll do it. He'll do it. Speaking of Tina, she's working on the campaign of a guy who's going to run against him as a Republican, and who is very likely to start talking that way on some of these issues, which can be very helpful, if not in electing him, in persuading Congressman Lujan to improve his performance, to hold his seat.
So what's the resolution that you mentioned?
Well, you could Google Alberto Gonzalez impeachment and find the resolution that was used on him. It was 1 or 2 sentences. It essentially said, the House Judiciary Committee shall open an investigation into whether Jay Bybee has committed impeachable offenses. I mean, that's it. And then the House Judiciary Committee has to do that. And, you know, maybe they decide he hasn't. All he did was legalize aggressive wars and torture. You know, that's not so serious. Or maybe, you know, maybe it becomes very hard for them to reach that conclusion once they hold the hearing, you know. I've been given the hook. Yeah, let's wrap up.
Question. Do you consider Congresswoman Pelosi a war criminal?
I think a case could certainly be made that she and the majority of Congress members have funded aggressive war, which is the supreme international crime. She has been made aware in private briefings of war crimes and not gone public, which you could construe as misprision of felony, a failure to report a felony of which you are made aware. She has worked very, very hard, beat the hell out of Democrats in Congress to get them to pass war funding bills, and then herself voted against them, which I think is a crime of high hypocrisy. It's not actually in the U.S. code, but I think it's revolting. So I'm not a fan. I applaud her when she does good things, and I disapprove when she does bad things. And I'm certainly not of the let's give her the benefit of the doubt and see how she does things while we watch TV persuasion. Yeah, last question, because I've already been yanked off the stage.
Why has Kucinich not introduced a resolution that you're urging Lujan to introduce?
It's a good question. I haven't really had the conversation with him. I will try to. He obviously went farther than anybody else on Cheney and Bush, but hasn't done much since. And he's done a lot of other issues, and he's the only one who voted against the war money on Thursday because it was war money and so forth. But he's radically better than all the rest of them, but he's not perfect, and there's lots of things he could do and should do. But if he introduces it alone and nobody else signs on, it doesn't get us far enough.
Well, talk to him.
Yes, I will try to talk to him. You too. Try to talk to all of these people. Try to talk to Conyers and Pelosi, but especially the guy who's supposed to represent you.
Conyers is a waste of time.
Maybe so. Let's maybe break up and talk informally because our session has ended. Thank you very much.
Did you eat?